Last year they put out the Russian version of the Avengers, and it is freaking phenomenal.
Is that the one with the bear?
Yes.
Okay, yes.
Yeah, I've got that. That one's great.
I didn't see the movie. I saw the picture. It looks pretty badass.
That sounds interesting.
Incredible.
So
we're recording.
We're live. Yeah, we're live. By the way.
Yep.
We're recording.
Best behavior, guys.
So, do y'all think if any of your family members turned into zombies that y'all could kill them?
Yes.
Depends on what kind of zombie. If it's the Night of the Living Dead zombies or Shaun of the Dead, maybe not. I'd keep him as a pet like he did with Nick Frost at the end. But if they're Return of the Living Dead zombies that are in pain, yeah, I'd kill them.
I would say it depends on which family member, because there's some family members. I mean, it wouldn't matter if there's a zombie or not.
The one you love the most. So.
The one I love the most. No, I'd just try to
your youngest
bang him until I became a zombie.
Into a zombie.
I would just try to bang him until I became a zombie.
I know you guys have not seen it still, even though I said it last time, but What We Do in the Shadows, there's a joke about he turns an infant into a vampire. So it's just forever an infant. It never grows, and it's like the worst thing that you can do. It's hilarious.
Ouch.
Oh, yeah, that's pretty bad. I guess he got the idea from Interview with the Vampire.
Oh, yeah, for sure. They make fun of everything vampire in it. It's great.
I'll have to see that.
I'm telling you.
I love the movie. I still haven't watched the series, but
Colin really Robinson, the energy vampire, is who I want to be when I grow up.
What? I don't have no idea what you're talking. Is that like the Vampire Diaries? That's what Pedal's watching these days.
No. It's What We Do in the Shadows. It's a mockumentary. They go to a vampire house in Staten Island in the recording, and they're inept. They're just idiots, and it's the
really
best. It's so fun.
Vampires.
Yes,
they're the worst vampires.
Colin Robinson is an energy vampire, and he's just a normal guy, and he feeds by boring you. So he just walks in and he'll be like, well, see, this is interesting. Do you know what this building used to be? And he just sucks all the fun out, and then his eyes glow blue, and he, oh my God, it's great. It's brilliant.
So for anyone watching, we're Cerberus. I am Patrick C. Harrison III. You got Chris Miller there, and you got M. Innenbach there, and we're going to discuss the Return of the Living Dead movies today, 1 through 3. We decided to skip out on what were those other ones called?
The Necropolis was one.
Yeah.
What made me skip out was they came out in 05 and 06, so
I knew
they had to be crap.
Yeah, they're gonna have CGI. Although they made one Return of the Living Dead 3D that has Sid Haig in it, and I wouldn't mind seeing that one.
I'd watch that.
I didn't know that. I'd watch anything with Sid Haig.
Yeah. Well, I looked up Return of the Living Dead franchise, and on Wikipedia that one's not listed, but then like on IMDb or something it's right there with all the rest of them. So I don't know if it's maybe not connected or maybe a reboot of some sort or something. But
well, how the hell did they miss the opportunity to make the third one 3D?
Yeah, and that was in what, 93 too. That was in like 3D's heyday,
right?
Yeah.
God, it couldn't have been a worse
Freddy's
movie.
Dead, the Final Nightmare era.
Yeah, I saw that in theaters in 3D.
Did I ever tell you about my friend Bill when we went and saw that movie at the theater?
Yeah.
Okay, so we go and see it. You know, at the end, it has the big thing, Freddy's head explodes, and the 3 demons fly at the screen.
Yeah.
So we walk outside, and we're standing right in front of the theater, and he goes, hey, let's go back and watch it again. This time we'll sit in the front row so we can watch them fly over our heads. I wanted to beat the shit out of him. I looked at him, I said, that's not how 3D works. Oh, my God.
I wish it did, though. I admire his passion and desire.
Yeah, that would be like a great movie to see. Remember the Omni Theater in Fort Worth? Y'all ever been there?
No.
Like the screen goes around you.
Oh, yeah.
Like an IMAX?
Yeah, but it's like the expensive IMAX ones where it's like even more immersive than the normal IMAX. Instead of a curved screen, it's actually a dome. I saw Star Wars.
Oh, yeah, wow, that would be awesome.
I've heard of ones where like your seats move and shit.
Yes, that's the one. The seats moved, and I mean the space battles. Holy crap! It was just awesome. When the camera shifted, you kind of shifted enough that it was cool.
I need to experience that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to
whatever
see,
the cost.
What was this movie? It's like Hardcore Henry or something that came out.
Oh, that first-person movie.
Yeah,
I haven't watched that.
I didn't see it, but that was the movie I wanted to see in IMAX because the entire movie.
I still want to see that movie.
Yeah, it's on Netflix.
Is it?
That's one. I wonder if I can hook up like the
VR
reality stuff.
Yeah. It wasn't a great movie, but it was innovative, sort of.
Yeah. Well, it looked like something, new. Even if the story is crap, it looked like visually it was something fun to watch. Just from the trailers, that's really all did. And I can take a visual feast. I don't necessarily have to have a story if you've got enough of a visual feast.
They need to do a zombie movie from that first-person perspective, where you're a zombie and you're like going around killing somebody.
Oh crap!
They've got I think that just works better for a game.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Now, for a 15-minute short film, it might be awesome.
Yeah, it might be. Yeah. Anyway, for Return of the Living Dead, all three of us, I think collectively, before we got the idea to do this podcast, love that movie. And I'm probably very familiar with it and seen it multiple times. I know for me, it was the horror movie of my childhood.
Oh, yeah.
It's probably one of the movies that set me on the path of becoming a horror author and loving horror movies. It didn't necessarily scare me, although it has scary parts, but it encompassed the horror genre for me.
I will say that as a kid me watching it, that half dog was horrific.
Yes.
That adult me watching it, I was like, what the hell was I thinking?
Yeah. Yeah, that's one of the most subtle scary moments of the movie, because
you just hear the barking
that it's going to come.
Yes.
It still catches you off guard, and it's very
What I enjoyed about the original Return of the Living Dead was the basic fuck everything else as far as the rules go for filmmaking, a zombie story, and it was completely something all its own. Mm-hmm. They took the idea of the zombies wanting brains, but made it funny and horrifying at the same time, and you've got trash buck naked the whole time, and you've got these terrific special effects. It's just balls to the wall fun from start to finish.
Okay, so I'm going through the notes that I made there because, again, I knew I'd forget stuff. I really liked the fact that it was called You Need a Medical Supply. That was dumb. I was kind of surprised at how the phone number changed for movies from 1-800-454-8000 to 1-800-555. I guess too many
people picked that up. I noticed that in your notes, but I never picked that up on my own.
Hey, did y'all notice the eye chart in the background in the office?
Yes.
In Return of the Living Dead, it says something like, what did it say? Bert says something about the owner, Bert.
Well, like I said, I started going through. I paused it. That guy, Ernie, who runs the crematorium, is a Nazi. He has a picture of Eva Braun on the wall.
Yes.
He has a Luger in his hand, and when the zombies come, he says, "Ein Betrugen Soldat," which means a drunken soldier in German.
His name is actually that of an SS soldier.
Yes.
An SS officer. Yeah.
As a kid, of course, I never picked that up, but then once I realized he was a Nazi, I could not look away. I was like, oh my God.
Okay, the eye chart says Bert is a slave driver and a cheap son of a bitch who is going bald. And of course, if you've seen the movie, Bert is the owner of this cadaver place. So it's,
You need a medical supply.
Yeah.
Where he gets the skeletons from a skeleton farm in India.
Yeah.
and there's the two guys, a little bit older guy and a little bit younger guy, who are working there who get infected.
Yeah.
And they actually, those two actors are also in the second movie playing
As the same
basically
thing.
the same role. but
Yeah.
And I was mad they
different
weren't in the third
names.
one.
See,
Yeah.
I hated that part of it because they're playing different characters, but it's pretty much the exact same role.
It was when they were
To me-
about to
to me,
die
they
and they
were
went,
the
"Oh my
only-
God, is this a dream? It's happened before." I was like, "All right."
Right. You know what?
Yeah.
And to me, they were the only redeeming parts of part 2 because
Oh no.
I enjoyed them.
No. I thought two was not as good as 1, but 3 was an aborted movie.
No,
That
three.
even
three,
my son
three
was bored.
blew. 3 was the best. Period. I'm sorry.
Oh,
No,
Period.
better than the
Yes.
first one?
wow.
Oh, you're insane.
Yes.
For
It was
anybody watching at
absolutely
home,
the
Chris
most
has the
fun,
worst
unique.
taste
It
in
was
everything.
the most fun. No. Mike is the greatest snob in history. That's what it comes down
That
to.
movie was only good for the last 20 minutes. Nothing happened but a horrible
Oh my God.
love story and
I
stereotypical
enjoyed
Hispanic
every
gangster.
second of part
Of course
3.
you did.
Of course I did. And I'm not
Oh
allowed
my
to
God,
think that.
3
But
was
anyway,
terrible. I won't watch 4.
no, I
because-
loved it.
It was unique. It was not that great. But back to the first one.
Yeah, we're still on 1.
What
Yeah,
I liked
sorry.
about that is how they referenced Night of the
The
Living
first
Dead
movie,
right there.
the original, yes, because that's the bodies in the canisters. I
Yeah.
loved that. That
Which
again,
kind
as a
of-
kid, never picked
it
it up.
made it kind of a sequel, but not really.
Right?
It was
I thought
its
that was
own
really
thing,
cool.
but it was connected. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
loved that part. I
And-
thought that was
Yeah, it
great.
was very cool.
And actually, if you go back and watch Night of the Living Dead, they're not after brains. They're just eating motherfuckers.
Yes,
Anyway,
the brain wasn't
that-
even a part of it yet.
Yeah, that was kind of the Dan O'Bannon, the director, came up with the making it about the brains rather than just body parts. I thought that was, ever since
I
then,
did
the
enjoy
zombies
something I forgot about that series. I did enjoy the tension that came from the fact that those who were infected were in an excruciating pain if they didn't eat brains.
No, that was
Um,
wonderful. That eating the brains
Yeah.
stopped the pain. That was the
Yeah.
good thing about the third one when she realized that inflicting pain on herself held the hunger off a little bit. And
Right.
made her super hot when she came out pierced, but we'll get to that.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Super hot. Not as hot
Yeah,
as
but-
Trout.
Yeah, I like when they strap
never.
down that half a zombie and start like interrogating her, basically.
Yeah. And the spinal cord was flopping, and
Yeah,
the
it's like
spinal
a
fluid
tail
was coming out on the
flopping around.
table.
Yeah.
Yep.
And she says she can feel herself rotting on the inside.
Yes, that was.
Mhm.
I mean,
Yeah.
it just added a dimension to it that it wasn't. The horror was like a level higher.
Yeah.
It was higher than the movie was
Yeah, because the movies are cheese.
capable
And
of.
I
Let's
think
be
they,
honest.
I think they always
They're campy.
meant to
yeah.
be. They meant to be that too. They weren't
Yeah.
trying to be too serious, and they worked on that cheesy level. But adding that level of pain until they could eat the brains added a dimension to it I wasn't, necessarily expecting.
I'll be
Yeah, it made it
honest.
horrifying for the zombies too.
The zombie
Right.
that came out of the tank, had that zombie not been so cartoonish, had it been actually horrifying looking, that would have changed the dimension of the movie completely. Because that zombie, when it comes out and it was all with the googly eyes and everything, it was
Yeah.
funny. But had they made that a real looking zombie, like had they gotten Savini or somebody to make it, man, that would have been totally different. That would have
Yeah,
shifted
see,
the tone.
This is completely different than Savini type special effects in this one. It is
Yeah,
kind of
for
cartoony,
sure.
but it's perfect to the style of the movie. 'Cause
It made it a great
comedy
B movie.
horror, basically.
Yeah.
I feel the same way about that skeleton that comes out of the ground and then its eyes open up. We all know there should be no eyes if the rest of it's a fucking skeleton.
And the eyes
Yeah.
were terrible. Yeah,
Yeah,
every
they
bit.
were.
Yeah, but it made you laugh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It did.
Yeah, I didn't care about the realisticness when it came to these movies because it was, there was so much camp involved. It was like, screw it, man, we're having
Yeah.
fun.
And-
Let them
yeah,
have
like the-
eyes.
Yeah, and the yellow zombie that they come out and he cuts the head off and then it just gets up. That looks so ridiculous, but it was so funny.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize, I had forgotten that we got both classic lines of send more paramedics and send more
Send
cops
more
in the
cops.
same movie. I thought
Yeah.
send more cops was in the sequel. I didn't realize that they went to that well twice and it was still good.
Yeah. Oh, it was still good.
Yeah.
Yeah. You shouldn't double dip jokes in a movie, but you could on that one.
It's just the way that they. I mean, you don't expect it. He says, "Send more paramedics," and they do. And I was like, "Oh yeah." And when they go running out, and they're going to the ambulance to see, and they see the body on the ground, and then they just swarm them. I was like, "Oh yeah, let's do this all day long."
Yeah, that was a good line too.
Yeah, it was a fun movie. The music sucked. That was just, oh my god, horrendous on the ears.
The music's not that great in any of them, and it's kind of surprising for an era that had a lot of great music.
Right?
They used a lot of that annoying piano, and I guess that's a cost-cutting thing.
It had to be.
But
I have no idea.
Not too thrilled with the music. But let's talk about what we all love most about that movie. Trash, right? Can we agree trash is... I mean,
trash is pretty cool.
That was probably my first experience with seeing nudity as a child. So,
yes.
So that's a life-altering experience.
I never saw it as a child.
Okay, it wasn't my first time seeing nudity, but it was the first time where it was full frontal, and she's just, for no reason, strips naked except for those leg warmers, gets on that coffin, and just starts grinding the air, and I was like, why? As a kid, I didn't care. I remember
one of the characters even says, "Oh boy, Trash is getting naked again." This is like a normal occurrence.
Yeah. That's her thing. Have a couple of drinks and get naked. Yeah.
But let's be honest. Let's give her credit. Her ass was out from then through the end of the movie.
Oh, yeah.
She never had anything but a vest
There's
on
about
after that.
10, 15 minutes into the movie when that happens, and then for the rest...
Yeah. Well, you know what? I wonder if they wrote it in like that, or if the director, writer, whoever, they had it planned for a nude scene, but then they saw her and thought of the appeal and were like, okay, let's just keep this going and have her dancing naked for pretty much the last half of the movie.
My God.
I have no idea.
Well, and I forgot. There was that one point where you just see her and she's a zombie and she goes running and they show, and I'm like, is that her bare ass? I was like, they even painted her ass gray. I was like, what the hell? Like, when she turned into a zombie, you couldn't see the leg warmers anymore because her flesh was the same color.
Everything was gray.
Yeah.
But she got gray kind of quick. I mean, that
real quick. Yeah, she managed to turn into the perfect zombie.
It takes her like 5 fucking days, it seems like, to turn into a zombie. But something I noticed about Return of the Living Dead on closer inspection, everybody talks about 28 days later being innovative because all the zombies are fast. They're fast in Return of the Living Dead.
They are fast, too. Yes.
They are.
It's not a Romero-esque zombie. They're not just lumbering along. Some of them are. But most of them, when they see that ambulance,
they're not all the
up,
same. That's the thing. Like, not all the zombies are the same in Return of the Living Dead.
Yeah. The ones that lumbered were the older corpses. You could tell, like, the fresher corpses move faster, and that just makes sense.
It does.
Yeah, a lot of movies rip this one off.
Zombie movement.
Oh, trash though. My God. Like, the whole second movie, I mean, you saw in my notes, I just kept saying, where's Trash? Like, if she would have just run through the screen, I would have been happy.
Something. Yeah, that's just one of the many things that are missing from the second movie, in my opinion.
The second one was the comedy. The first one was the perfect mix.
Yeah.
The second one was the comedy, and the third one was trying to be a drama.
It went the cheese too far in the second one.
Well, it seemed like they were trying to make it a children's movie, except they still made it rated R, so that made no sense.
I'll be honest.
The kid here. And
Dante loved it.
The kid was boring as hell.
Yeah, when we were sitting here, Dax watched that entire one, and he loved it. And and maybe that's why I enjoyed it so much more, was because he did.
I enjoyed it as a kid, too. And I remember being terrified of that tall kid. The one with the braces.
The bully.
When he bites his mom. Even now, that's a creepy scene. When he bites his mom.
There's a couple of scenes, it's in the second one, that always bug me, where it was always a family member who had turned, and they came to, some character, and then they would turn and they would bite either the throat or their scalp or all these other things. And the reaction of the person getting bit was, there was just nothing. It was like, oh, what are you doing? You know?
Well, that's what happened
Meanwhile,
at the
their
end.
brains are getting sucked out. You know?
Yeah, that's what I didn't get at the end, where the girlfriend's like, "Okay, yeah, eat my brains.
Eat
I
my
love
brains.
you too. Eat my brains."
Right.
That's so. That was
It was-
ridiculous.
The second one didn't do it for me.
Yeah, here's what I feel about the second one. It was not even a real sequel, as much as it was a retelling or a reboot of the same story. It had nothing to do with the first one.
Not quite as much as like Evil Dead 2 versus Evil Dead 1. It's a sequel, but it's also a remake. The first 10 minutes are a remake of the first movie, and then it tells the sequel. It wasn't quite that, and it wasn't nearly as good as that. But no, it was.
I guess it was the Goonies version of the movie.
I can see that. I can see that.
Except that the kids weren't as good. You had of course not. He had two friends that got sprayed with the gas, or the two bullies, and we only see one of them for the rest of the movie. The whole
they were both there. We see them both. The taller one had the long red hair.
Yeah.
Saw him kill his mom, and then the younger one was the one who went over the fence at the end when they were trying to electrocute it. When they were trying to kill all the zombies at the very end.
The one that
was the
opened the
second
gate?
kid. Huh?
The one that opened the gate?
Yeah. The one who basically got the zombies in too early for them to set the trap up correctly. That was the other bully kid.
Oh, see, I thought that was the same one.
No, the only reason I know it was different was the hair was different. Like he didn't have the Malachi hair. That's what I called the redheaded one.
Now, Malachi is a scary one.
Malachi.
Anytime there's a redhead bad guy, he's Malachi, because Children of the Corn really warped me as a child.
Well, Children of the Corn,
makes
the
sense.
movie. I'm one of those people that thinks the movie Children of the Corn is much better than
much better. Added so much to it.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, Malachi, Isaac, he who walks behind the rose.
They made a full story out of something that was just a snapshot.
Yeah.
And
they really fleshed it out.
The diner, the first time you find out all the adults are dead, or like you start to realize there's something in that town. When they go in that diner,
and they all have the corn stalks.
Yes. Man, we need to do that one. I haven't seen that movie since I was a kid.
Movie. Yeah, it's been a long time since I've watched it.
Did y'all see the remake? And maybe like 10 years ago, something like that.
I don't think I've ever watched the sequel.
Oh, no, I've seen
I'm not talking about the sequels. I'm talking about the reboot.
I didn't even know there was one.
Yeah,
I didn't know there was a reboot. No.
Yeah.
Okay, then we need to do
Let's
Go to the Corns.
It wasn't as good as the original, anyway.
That movie affected me so much that my D&D character that I played for years was named Malachi. Like legit. That Malachi was great, and Isaac was so creepy.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Isaac was super creepy. Was he really?
He was perfect.
Was he really a kid, or was he an adult in real life?
Oh, I have no idea. I just assumed he was a kid. I guess when I watched that movie, I didn't know that there were people like that. The one you sent that picture of the other day from Waiting. What's his name? Menakis?
Yeah, Andy Milanakis.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, him.
Yeah.
Because he won't say what's up with him. He's got something. And that's why he stays looking like he's...
he looks like he's 12.
Yeah,
like
pretty
Michael
much.
J. Fox looked like he was 15 for 20, 30 years.
Right. He still does.
Yeah, just he shakes more.
Hmm?
That's wrong. That is so wrong.
Mike, you're wronger than I am.
Yeah.
Oh, did y'all notice that?
I love Michael J. Fox, just FYI.
Did y'all notice that sergeant with the 50 cal in Return of the Living Dead 2 was Skinner from the X-Files?
I've made a note in there. Mitch Pileggi is Shocker.
Mitch Pileggi.
Yes.
Fuck yeah.
And you know what? My first thought was not Skinner. My first thought was definitely that's the dude from Shop.
And he was chewing on a Harrison cigar. Did you see that?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you not go through my notes? I made a big deal about that because I was super excited.
Him back in the
I want him to get plastic surgery and play you in the movie version of Day 69.
Let's do it.
He's got to get a goatee going. But otherwise,
that would totally work. I could play myself. What are you talking about?
That's true.
Yeah, okay. Hey, yeah, you're hired.
You don't know if I have acting chops or not.
I don't know that. I don't.
So, Chris, tell me why you like this third one so much. I'm so curious.
Yeah.
The third one, okay. The third one to me had the most fun with the material. Like Brian Yuzna, okay, he was the director of the third one. He was also the director of Bride of Reanimator, and a handful of sequels to really popular horror movies that ended up being sequels
Garbage.
that I enjoyed. I never enjoyed most of those as much as the originals, but I always enjoyed his sequels. But this one, it just had an energy to it that was fun. It didn't give a damn. And it just told its own story. I just enjoyed it. I don't know how else to put it. It was
I'll
fun
say this.
to me.
It was unique for a zombie movie because the central storyline was not about a mass of zombies chasing a bunch of people.
Sure.
And one person getting bitten and turning into a zombie halfway through the film. The basic Romero type story. It's completely different. It takes zombies a completely different direction.
Counterpoint to Chris. That movie was trash. That was Romeo and Zombieette. They tried to shoehorn a love story that was shit, and they made 3/4 of the movie about it, and right when it gets good, it's over. It doesn't get good until Riverman shows up. Typical Hispanic gangbangers show up. So is that South Central LA? Is that because they called it South Central, but I never quite figured it out.
See, I don't know where the hell it had a small town vibe. I thought they were kind of in a small town.
But then they're like, oh, it's in South Central
with an army base close by.
Yeah,
but
that's another thing. Like 3 movies in a row, the army fucked up and somehow gas is getting out. Could we not have come up with a different way for the gas to come out? And
I don't know,
we
but
believe
isn't that
the story, the narrative from the first one, then it actually happened 4 times.
Okay, so in the first one, it made sense that it was a delivery that went wrong, but I didn't understand why they didn't just call the army and have it picked up. Yeah. The second one was just due to very poor strap management. Yeah. I mean, had they strapped that in correctly and tied it down, that doesn't happen.
Yeah, about that strap management, the guy's smoking weed as he's driving. And it's like, okay, he's going to run off the road or something because he's high. No, the ratchet strap just comes loose and the barrel goes rolling out. Okay, why did it show him smoking weed?
Who's got the balls? They're in an armed caravan with zombies and they're just smoking a joint, blasting shitty hair metal. Like that, I was so confused. And then they showed the straps.
And they're soldiers as if they're superior officers. And they're like, what the fuck are you doing?
Right? Like they're not going to notice. Of course and it was a pinner. Who's got a small joint like that? That was an embarrassing joint. I'm just saying, man. You roll a hog leg if you're going to be cruising in an army caravan. Ain't no pinners going through here.
Right.
Okay, let me tell you what the problem I had with the third one.
All right.
They have that motorcycle wreck. He lays down next to her, and like every movie ever made, he can listen to her chest or whatever and says she's dead. Completely dead. We're told as an audience she is dead.
Dead.
In all the previous movies, you're exposed to that chemical. What is it? Trioxin?
Trioxin. Yeah.
If you're exposed to the trioxin, when you're dead, your heart's no longer beating, well, then you're a zombie immediately.
But she hadn't been exposed.
She hadn't been exposed till later.
She was dead and then got exposed.
Right.
Dead before
she came
getting
back.
exposed. So why?
And then she came back basically human.
Yeah.
Because the movie said so, Patrick. Because the movie said so. They had already shown us that you get exposed, you die, you come back. Well, now if you're dead and you get exposed, you still come back. It was the natural progression for the series.
Hold on, guys. Let's go back to the most important part.
That was a horseshit twist.
The most important part is the greatest scene of Hereditary completely ripped off this movie. The ultimate scene that when Hereditary changed,
when the head
telephone pole.
Yeah.
And the minute she hit that thing, I went, "Holy shit! That dude ripped them off." It blew my mind.
I will say Ari Aster did it a whole lot better.
Yeah.
As much fun as I thought Return of the Living Dead 3 was,
Hereditary is a lot better. Yes.
Oh yeah, a lot.
I don't think you'll get any
better.
argument here. And I'm one who
Period.
thought Hereditary was overrated, but yes,
No,
it was
I
definitely
loved
better
it.
than Return.
I'm
I
going to
loved
be
it.
honest. I think Hereditary is a modern Rosemary's Baby.
I think it's fantastic. The only thing lately that has come out that I thought was better is The Lighthouse.
Oh man.
Yeah, but that's
I
apples
think
and oranges.
Lighthouse
You
is
can't
definitely
compare
better.
those.
No, it's not comparable, but I'm saying what would I want to watch again now? It's The Lighthouse every time.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I've watched it 3, 4, 5 times.
I would
now.
watch The Witch again over that too.
I don't think any
enjoy
horror
a lot.
movie.
It's not one that it's not super rewatchable to
Fuck,
me.
that's
But
overrated. God, that
The Lighthouse.
The
boring.
Witch.
Yes, so fucking overrated. Pretentious.
You're pretentious. How do you? not
Okay.
like
you really are, Mike.
The best horror movie that has come out in the last 20 years, still, nobody will change my mind, Autopsy of Jane Doe. Nothing's
Absolutely.
better.
No,
It's
it's
Watching
good,
that, I just
but it's
watched
not
it
the best.
again.
It's-
God, that movie's amazing.
Yeah,
Lighthouse is
I've
better than
watched
that
it 5
easy.
or 6 times. It's one of my favorite all time for sure.
Yes,
I
it's top
like it a
3.
lot, but it's not better than The Lighthouse to me.
The Lighthouse isn't horror.
Yes, it is.
It's absolutely horror.
It's
No.
absolutely
It's
horror. It's
surrealism.
also absurdist and black
What
comedy.
genre would you put it in?
It's
Surrealism.
but it is certainly horror.
Realism.
Yes.
It's not,
Just
there's
'cause
not
it
It
has
rips
realism
off
doesn't mean it's not
rips
the
off
horror
German
genre.
surrealistic films to the point where it films it frame by frame when he's
Okay.
shining the light in his face. Yes.
It's still
okay.
horror.
Okay, I still
Realism.
it's still
is
horror.
a style. It's not a genre.
If masturbating to a carved mermaid vagina is horror, then we're all living in horror, you bastards.
So
What?
do you
Yes,
think
we are
Eraserhead
because I
is horror?
found that
Is
movie
Eraserhead
horrifying.
No,
I
I
can't
do not think
stop watching
Eraserhead's
it.
horror. No, I don't. Eraserhead's drama. It's no.
I mean, I put it in the same category as Lighthouse.
Yeah, so do I, and that's what I'm saying. There's
I would say that's a subgenre. of
there's
horror.
not really a plot of The Lighthouse because nothing is ever
It's madness is the plot. That's it. And
or Defoe's lies.
it's absolutely beautiful to watch.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying any of that's not true.
I know you like the movie. I'm just saying I honestly believe it is a horror film.
But
period.
Jane Doe is 10,000 times the movie.
I disagree.
I put
enjoy that
them
one a
both
lot.
up there at the top, but I would say Jane Doe inches it out. For sure. Jane Doe, The Autopsy of Jane Doe is probably the scariest movie I've seen as an
The
adult.
bell.
It doesn't scare me.
That
And another
bell
one-
tinkling, just the randomness of it. And you just hear it, and they look down the hall, and there's nothing. Oh my God! You just how many
whenever they
times do you
pull
think
back
she
her
was there?
skin,
Oh, and the writing on the inside.
Oh, fuck. Yeah.
See,
And
I
then
would
when it
say
starts healing?
Yeah.
Hereditary was scarier to me than Jane Doe.
Oh, you're nuts.
No, I'm serious. I'm telling you,
Hereditary
that's-
had maybe 3.
But I've watched Jane Doe 3 times now, and I like it very much. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's a bad movie. I enjoy it very much, but to watch Hereditary, and especially that scene where the telephone pole and then the finale, that fucked me up. That absolutely screwed with me in a way that Jane Doe never approached.
See, another one that really got me was a Vacancy. Vacancy is one of my favorite
Vacancy
movies
was
of all
great.
time.
And Kate
found it
Vacancy's
horrible.
awesome. I love Vacancy. That's a fantastic
It's never
movie.
on anybody's top 10 list. But
No,
it
and
is-
it should be. It should be. It's the modern day Psycho.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah, it's that style
Yeah.
of movie, and the way Luke Wilson pulls out that role when he's doing
Yeah,
comedian
he
stuff
did a great
his
job.
whole life. It's just
And Frank Wally as the Psycho.
yeah,
He was brilliant.
yes, agreed.
Absolutely brilliant. I love Vacancy.
I can't tell. I honest to God, I don't know what makes my opinion of Chris lower. His thoughts on Jane Doe or his thoughts on Dark Tower. Like, I feel like
Allie
it's the
says-
exact same opinion.
Allie says Jane Doe was clever. She loves Jane Doe.
Because
she just texted
they
me.
didn't have to do anything to scare the shit out of you. And that's
she's not arguing for you guys against me. She's just saying she liked the movie, which I also did.
For anyone that doesn't know that's watching, Chris loves The Dark Tower. It's like
that's not true. That's not true.
Fantasy sci-fi
that's not
horror.
true. No, that's
talking
not
about
true.
The movie.
If the movie is shit, he loves it and he will defend it to the death.
No, you're wrong.
I'm not saying it's the greatest movie of all time, but the cinematography was wonderful. The acting was great. The scenes, oh my god. The special effects, the script, the score. I hated the movie. It is a 3 out of 10, but it was perfect in every way known to man. What was it? What movie did he give us that? Remember when he gave us that exact summary of a movie?
None of those words are true. None of those words are true.
And post it on Facebook. You described a movie.
I hope you find it because it didn't exist.
Defend yourself, Chris.
Yeah, defend yourself.
I never said I liked The Dark Tower. What I said was, and there's a Facebook post that people, if they want to go hunt it down, they can find it. I don't know what date I put it on, but it's out there.
You know what Chris is? Chris is the living definition.
This is my time to talk.
It's the living definition of if you pull down Confederate statues, people will forget the Civil War happened. That's what he's doing right now. That's what he's doing right now. I love The Dark Tower, but I will defend that I did not like it now that people are calling me on it.
No. I'm about to.
I don't understand that analogy.
If you'll all be quiet, I can say exactly.
I'm going to go for a half hour while he describes.
Go, Chris, go. Let's hear it. Let's get it all out on the table.
Here is what I posted originally after I watched it, the one and only time I will ever watch it because I don't care to see it again. I said, as an adaptation of an existing material, it is shit. Those were my words.
Okay,
then I said, as just a movie,
here we go.
I've seen worse. Okay, I have seen worse. This was a sci-fi channel production that included some. No. I'm saying the level of production. This was a sci-fi channel level of production with some high-class actors, one of whom, especially McConaughey, seemed to be totally confused about where the hell he was the whole time. Because he's a good actor, and he was terrible in that movie.
I felt the same way about
He was terrible. And now Idris Elba, he was fine. But he didn't have enough to do, and the movie kind of held him back from the real story. However, I have seen worse movies in my lifetime. I'm not sure I've seen a worse adaptation. Let that be the final word.
Is it better or worse than Return of the Living Dead 3?
Ooh. I liked Return of the Living Dead 3 a lot more. Okay. I enjoyed that movie.
Okay.
The Dark Tower, I was trying the whole time.
Imagine Dark Tower, but the roles are
reason to enjoy it.
McConaughey was Roland and Idris was the Man in Black.
Ooh.
That would change that movie up quite a bit, wouldn't it? Because if somebody had been in the Man in Black and actually acted well, honest to God, all I remember is I thought it was cool how he reloaded the gun, and I couldn't tell you anything else about the movie besides. Is that the movie threw the bullets in the air and caught him?
I wanted Josh Brolin as Roland. That's who I wanted as Roland. I thought
he. You know what though? That now that Mike said that, I would be thrilled to have Matthew McConaughey as Roland. McConaughey's great. He is. He really is, but in that movie, he's not.
He was not. He was
and I don't think it's totally his fault. I think it was the direction, the production, all that kind of stuff was kind of,
but they tried to cram
should have killed that role, and he didn't.
An hour and a half. It was never going to work.
No, or make it the first of the series.
Even with the sequel idea they had that it was a sequel to the books because he started out with the Horn of Eld or whatever it was called, in the series of books, which is what he had at the end of the series of books. you know, you know, even with it taking a different direction, you know, when I first heard that, I said, okay, that I'm okay with that. You know, they're going to retell the story, basically have the same things, but now they have more of an excuse to change things up. And then they tried to put 8 books into one movie that was an hour and a half, and I thought that was the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
Yes.
I
Now,
don't understand
I
how
agree with
Amazon
all of
hasn't
that.
bought the
Amazon is
rights
making
yet.
a series. I heard
Who
that
is?
Amazon was making a series.
Oh, are they? Well, that
That's what
makes
I have
sense.
heard that,
Like
and
they're starting
it's
from the younger years.
it's supposed to be Wizarding Glass, the backstory in Wizarding Glass,
Yeah, starting
and that's
there.
one of the better stories in Dark Tower.
That's my favorite book of the Dark Tower series. Yeah, Wizarding Glass. Yeah, that would be awesome if they start from there. Whenever Roland is like
As a
14,
kid,
15 years old.
well, no, I don't even know if he's a teenager in the beginning.
Yeah, they could make a killer series out of that story for sure.
Well, the thing is, when you have a existing intellectual property like the Dark Tower that's 7, 8 books long, whatever it is, why are you trying at this point in history to make it into a series of movies or even one movie? Why aren't you going to HBO or Netflix or Hulu or any of these places and making a series with 10 episode seasons to really tell the
when
story?
they made the Dark Tower, that wasn't viable.
That may be what they're doing with Amazon. I don't know.
Yeah,
but
it wasn't viable back
when
they made that movie. How old is the movie?
We're talking about 3 years.
I disagree. They could have made
3
it a
years
Lord
at
of the
most. No, they could have totally done it.
4 or 5 movies.
Yeah, but I don't think that. I think at the point when that movie came out, the snobbery idea was still that cinema was one thing and Netflix was garbage. This was before Netflix really started to win the awards, and because that's only been in the last couple years where if you weren't
HBO, and the Dark Tower only came out in the last 3 years. So
no, it's got to be older than that.
No, it's not.
You can see from the love that the Irishman got at the Oscars that they still think Netflix is a joke. I mean, yeah,
and that movie was shit.
Directed.
That movie was awesome.
It was a great
You're
movie.
wrong.
It was a
yeah,
great
that
movie,
was an awesome movie for shit. That was a movie that teaches you why you have editors. You don't let some crazy little Italian man do whatever the hell he wants, so he makes Robert De Niro look like shit.
The Dark Tower came out in 2017, so 3 years, like I said.
Yeah, and what was the big Netflix show 3 years ago?
Stranger Things, which was massive.
Okay.
Sure.
And that was a bunch of nobodies that they gave a chance to where they didn't have to pay money. Who were the people who made Stranger Things before Stranger Things?
Yeah, I still haven't seen
the Duffer Brothers.
Yeah, what did they do before then? What was...
I don't know. They were the Duffer Brothers, though.
Exactly.
They're still the
So
Duffer
there's
Brothers.
a big difference between the Duffer Brothers and Stephen King.
Just like...
Yeah,
where was Cerberus before Cerberus Risings? I don't know, but they were Cerberus.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. We're still not anything until we have our book out.
I'm telling you right now, Christine Morgan read our book and wrote the foreword. We're someone.
Yeah.
I totally agree.
I mean that to me, that's the only thing that
I couldn't be more thrilled about that.
That's legitimizing right there, is what that is.
That was an awesome forward too.
It was
truly.
She really nailed it with the whole threes and the Trinity and everything. She just went into it. It was perfect.
I'd never even considered it.
For anybody who doesn't know what the fuck we're talking about, we have a book coming out called Cerberus Rising. It'll hopefully be out within a month and a half, something like that. So Cerberus Rising.
Working on a cover right now, and we just need a logo.
We do need a logo.
I still like that PC3 one I made. I think that if we work that out, or the MC3 or M3C.
Well, what is it?
What? It's M3C, damn it. Yeah, I know. I got all confused.
Mike 3 Chris, M3C.
Yeah.
So, other than the Return of the Living Dead movies, what's y'all's favorite zombie movie?
Sean,
favorite zombie movie?
It's brilliant.
It would come down to either 28 Days Later or the remake of Dawn of the Dead, because I had a blast with that one.
I'd put 28
but
Days Later up there.
I think 28 Days Later is probably the better movie, but the remake of Dawn of the Dead was so much fun that sometimes I forget that when I've seen it recently.
So
That's why I like Shaun of the Dead, because it's reverent
Shaun of the Dead
Night
is
of
great.
the Living Dead, but it adds that humor that just, it needed it. Night of the Living Dead's a great movie, but my God, it's a slog at times.
And Shaun of the Dead,
I like Zombieland better than Shaun.
Zombieland
yeah,
was
that's
great.
a fun one. That was a fun one. Shaun of the Dead, though, to me, is not really a comedy. It's just a zombie movie that happens to be humorous, if that makes sense.
Is that how you feel about Return of the Living Dead? That's kind of how.
No. Return of the Living Dead is trying to be a comedy as much as it's trying to be, a splatterfest. Shaun of the Dead, I think, was trying. I think they achieved telling a genuine horror story in a humorous way.
Yeah.
It's a great
I
movie.
think Shaun of the Dead's brilliant. But no, Zombieland's good, but Zombieland puts the comedy too high. Shaun of the Dead keeps the zombie level high enough that they're a threat, whereas in Zombieland it's more about the one-liners and the quips. And I guess that's why I put that one higher.
And Shaun of the Dead has
it's
that
firmly in the comedy realm.
Shaun of the Dead has that super emotional scene in the Winchester where he has to shoot his mother. And it is absolutely heartbreaking, and they don't pull any punches, and they don't try to laugh it off. They don't do any
those
of that.
three together are brilliant.
Yeah, that was just a great movie.
I'll say that their Cornetto trilogy is maybe one of my favorite trilogies of all time. I think Hot Fuzz is absolutely brilliant.
Hot Fuzz is hysterical.
And End of the World, honestly, the first time I saw it, I wasn't so big.
I've never seen that one.
The first time I saw it, I wasn't huge. The second time I saw it, it kind of blew me away, but I don't know what the mindset was. But you know how some movies do that? The second time, it's just better. Yeah. Like maybe all those little things you missed pop in. But I think
you're in a different headspace. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
My favorite zombie movie, other than Return of the Living Dead, is the remake of The Crazies.
Yeah.
That's a good one. It's a fun one, yeah.
That one is once the action starts, it is non-stop action. It has emotional moments and great acting. Yeah,
I love what's his name? Timothy Oliphant.
Oh yeah, he's great in everything.
He's a really good actor, and I don't think he's ever quite gotten the recognition he really deserves.
He's in the what is that other zombie one? The one with Drew Barrymore.
Drew Barrymore.
Santa Clarita Diet.
Yeah, I haven't seen watched that. But that's going to be like a comedy or something, I guess.
You know what? That was enjoyable. That was seriously enjoyable. Yeah, because she has no clue, and they don't know how to handle it. And I don't know, Timothy Oliphant. Seriously, he's just this stoned husband who's just trying to make things work. And
why doesn't she look like a zombie though? I've only seen the previews, and she looks like just a normal person.
She starts to fall apart towards the end. Now, I've only seen the first season, and I know it got canceled after either 2 or 3, so I kind of stopped.
2 or 3 seasons, and it was done. I've never watched it, but
yeah, when they don't complete a story, I'll just drop it, because why do I want to get invested in another cliffhanger that'll never be resolved?
Yeah.
Reminds me of Flash Forward. It was a terrific show. It came out after Lost finished. And everybody in the world had a flash, and it got 1 season, and that 1 season was awesome, and it had this fantastic cliffhanger at the end, and then it got canceled. And everybody hoped that Netflix was going to pick it up or something, and it never happened, and now it's like 10 years later, and
I never saw Lost.
Oh, okay. Man, Lost is awesome.
I'm telling you guys right now, seriously, for the next time we do one of these, I have the show that you guys need to watch, because we need to talk about this. Hannibal is on Netflix.
Hannibal, the TV show?
Yes.
The series?
Yes.
Okay. Is it like Hannibal Rising?
No, it's basically the series covers the last season does Red Dragon, and then the beginning does part of Hannibal, like the guy with the pigs.
Mhm.
You know what I'm talking about with the pig farm?
Now,
I don't want to give anything away. The
how many
horror,
episodes do we have? Because if it's not too much, we can do this for our next episode.
I think it's either 10 or 13 a season, but we could do a season. I'm telling you, it is the most beautifully horrific thing I've ever seen. It is poetry on the screen.
I love all the Hannibal movies.
And
Yeah, I've
Nicholson
enjoyed
is
every one of them.
brilliant.
I
as Hannibal.
enjoyed what's the one that Michael Mann made with Brian Cox playing
Manhunter,
Hannibal?
Mindhunter.
Manhunter. I enjoyed that one,
Yeah.
which was Red Dragon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed the Red Dragon movie with Anthony Hopkins even more.
When they did the Red Dragon is an entire season, so they
Mhm.
really spread it out. The Francis Dollarhide stuff, his obsession, the blind girl. But even I'm saying the first season where it's Will Turner and he's going to see Hannibal about his problems, and oh my God, it's seriously, I've never seen anything so beautifully shot.
All right. Well, yeah. Chris, you up for watching that over the next couple of weeks?
I will. Yeah, I'll try to watch that.
I'm telling you, once you start, you're not going to
might
stop.
even be into that.
Yes.
So,
That's on Netflix.
Yes, it just got onto Netflix not too long ago, and I'm going to rewatch it myself because seriously, it's beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah.
So if anybody's watching, looks like we'll be talking about Hannibal in a couple of weeks. You want to catch us on that? Do I have anything else y'all want to say about Return of the Living Dead before we wrap this up?
Part 3 was awesome. Screw you guys.
It was overrated.
Julie was super
Overrated.
hot, but she was no trash.
No, she was. Oh, there is no trash.
But when she came out pierced and she had the glass and the spikes and everything,
That was. You know what? She was the dominatrix from hell. That was
super
a
hot
shot from hell.
That was super hot. Yeah.
That was a good shot.
Yeah.
All right, folks.
Yeah.